On this episode, we're diving into a brand new listener mailbag filled with your questions. From favorite breakfast spots and perfect Disney days to nostalgic fun facts, romantic resort picks, and whether Epic Universe is worth a detour from your Disney trip. Today's May 16th, 2025, and this is episode 772 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys!
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, get the latest theme park news, as well as live streams from the parks and resorts, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Are you ready for your bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today. Are you looking for a gift that's thoughtful, creative, and guaranteed to make someone smile? Then look no further than Yisa Creations gift baskets and more. From beautifully curated gift baskets and sweet treats to unique seasonal surprises, Yisa puts love and care into every creation. Whether it's for a birthday, holiday, special occasion, or just because, there's something for everyone. So support local business and give a gift that feels personal and memorable. Visit Yisa Creations gift baskets and more on Facebook to browse, order, or customize your own basket today.
So if you're not joining us in person at Main Street 16 and you're listening to this episode, please go and donate. Join us virtually. Donate at mainstreet16.com.
Yes.
And yeah, so that's...
You can still be there. Even though you're not there, it's like you're there because you're going on and you're participating and you are donating.
Absolutely.
And of course, right now, you're probably following us around on socials to see how the weekend is going. So if you haven't done that already, check out Main ST Magic on socials. We're going to finish up our Q&A, but first, since the last episode on Epic Universe went a little bit long, takes some time to talk about Epic Universe, right?
Yeah.
We did do a couple things on Friday. We stayed that night at Dockside Inn. And then got up on Friday morning to check out and get a little fix of Disney before we headed home, right?
Yeah. Jeremy was going to go get food. And I said, I just want to get out of here. I want to go to Disney.
Now, to be fair, because again, I know you can roll your eyes, and we are very thankful and we are very lucky that we get to go to Disney as often as we do.
Yep.
Last we were there was April 10th, and all we did was ride Small World all day long.
Correct.
And then the time before that was mid-March, where we just did Epcot, and you waited in line with me all day for 2 days, pretty much, to see Blue October.
Correct.
So we feel like we haven't been in the parks in a while, and that's why we're so excited for Main Street 16 weekend.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
We thought we're already down in Orlando. We were staying the night anyway in Universal. Why not head over to... Yeah, kids are in school.
Yep.
Got nothing to do before like 5 p.m. Why not get a little Disney in our life? So what do we do?
We went over to Typhoon Lagoon because that was open. So we didn't have a chance to pick between the two because they will not be both open until the end of May.
Yes.
So
then we can select.
Then we can select, which I'm super excited. But yeah, so which was great because Typhoon Lagoon is right across from Disney Springs, really, anyways. And we kind of wanted to go there after. Yeah, we headed over to Typhoon, had our bathing suits on, but also had our bog bag that had all of our towels and a change of clothes actually in it.
Yeah, and this is where, you know, we love, now we added water parks. We have water parks so we can go any day. Obviously, this wasn't a check-in day or anything for us at Disney where you get included water parks.
Correct.
But this is the reason why I love them doing that. You know, we went there. We were there for about 2 hours.
Yes.
We chilled for a little bit. We did a lap around the lazy river.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the wave pool some.
Mm-hmm.
We got a frosty cold non-alcoholic beverage or two,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that we each had, and we kind of just relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And it, in our mind, obviously we had to pay the $99 per person for the year for these, but it's almost like free in a way, you know, like different from just being able to walk in and out of the parks. But this is where I think if you plan properly your arrival day and that included water park day, even if you just go in the morning when you first arrive, you're waiting for your hotel room to be ready, and you go for 2 or 3 hours, even if all you get out of it is a lazy river, a cold beverage, and the wave pool, it is well worth it.
Yeah. And that was super enjoyable.
It was.
Just to like relax and not really do anything, really, not ride any crazy rides.
And again, here's the thing with this free water park thing. So I know we haven't gotten to discuss it a lot because you were working some yesterday and all. We're gonna stay in the DVC cabin at Fort Wilderness in August, right at the end of August, because Rachel's gonna be there for that week, and we're gonna go and hang out with her some. I don't know what we'll do yet, children wise, but let's just say the girls come, and they each invite their friend, as they're known to do, because this does sleep 6 technically. Mm-hmm. We can go down that day straight to a water park for 4 other people, our 4 kids that are all teenagers, and not pay another dime over top of what we already paid for the cabin, basically.
That's
and
amazing.
even if we only go there for 2 or 3 hours, and we literally check in online, you know, for our room, and even if we waited and said, we're going to wait until we get a notification that the room is ready, then we're going to pack up from Typhoon or Blizzard Beach and go to the cabin. You could, and you had all that for technically like included or free that morning. So I love it.
This is a question that you're probably going to be like, I don't know the answer
Okay,
to.
we're starting the Q&A early with Rhonda's question. What?
If you're at Typhoon
Mm-hmm.
and the kids are like, this is great, but I want to see Blizzard.
You can go to Blizzard. Yeah. Yes, so
you can stay for a few hours and then head
and
over
park hop. You can. So and that should be the truth. I had inquired with Scott Gustin, who we get a ton of our news from. He is an absolutely amazing news source, of course, out on Twitter. I had checked with him, and he said that you will be able to park hop. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, too, when you think about it.
That's huge, because I could see the girls being like, well, let's go over to Blizzard because we haven't been in years, and then going, oh, I forgot I really like Typhoon's water park.
And you could hop over there.
Wave park better. Wave pool.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So we'll give that a shot one day. Maybe we can do that in August or whatever.
Okay.
But we did decide to not eat there, and since we were so close to Disney Springs, we headed right on over to Disney Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And where did we end up? Because you know what, we really just wanted to eat a meal that we enjoyed and have a nice little day date, didn't we?
We did. And we went to the boathouse because
It's the boathouse.
again, we were like thinking like, what is like pretty much probably a really great restaurant that is maybe underwhelmed, that we underrated maybe, or no, boathouse is overrated. Anyways.
What are you getting at?
It's probably
I think we underrate Boathouse sometimes.
Yes.
And I know there's a long-standing joke of their small shrimp, and sometime we need to go there and get some sort of shrimp-specific dish again, I think. But I we talk about Boathouse a lot and it being so good, but we don't go there a lot.
Yeah.
We really don't. So we thought, you know what? Let's go see what it's like. If we need to, we could sit at a bar, but let's see what the wait time's like. They said 45 minutes. I think we were in within about 25. Like we walked down to D Style. By the time we get back, we were pretty much ready to go. So we'll just talk about what we got real quick. We got the oysters Rockefeller. So there are 5 of these. Chef's selection of oyster for $27. Cream spinach, herb butter, breadcrumb, and pernod. We've gotten these in the past, and these were definitely different than the ones we got several years ago. We got them for brunch when we went with your brother and family and all when we were at Fort Wilderness. So these are slightly different, I feel like, with that cream spinach. It doesn't have the typical like Parmesan cheese melted on top. So it's very one-note textured.
it's very soft.
All of
The
it's
whole-
soft.
it-
Yeah.
The texture's all soft. And that's sometimes a little harder for you.
It's a little off-putting, but the flavors were there,
I loved it. They were smaller.
which I appreciate, actually.
So
Yeah.
I thought they were fantastic.
They were good
I
little
ate
bites.
3. You had 2.
Yeah. I prefer the melted cheese on top.
Yeah.
But they weren't sandy like what I had an experience with, over in the American Pavilion. So I enjoyed them, but I missed that. I definitely missed it. It was fresh, though.
Yeah.
Like, it was as fresh as could be. You went with a salad.
Yeah, I did. I was wanting a good salad. And they had one. It was so their chopped salad is $17.50, and this is iceberg romaine blend, grilled chicken, salami, tomatoes, olives, red onions, pepperoni, white cheddar, chopped bacon, artichokes, and herb vinaigrette.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And then it's funny because under the salads, and that's the last salad, it says you can add protein. Well, there was already protein on it, and I was thinking of shrimp, but then when I ordered it, and before I could say anything or I could think about because I think she should be like, would you like to add any more protein? But she did say there's already protein sprinkled in. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then I was like, all right, then I'm going to go ahead and just get the chopped salad exactly how it is. I'm not going to add steak or shrimp or whatever. So I did. And yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
It was
in
really
fact,
good.
I took it home and finished it for dinner. And it
Along
was
with some
still
leftover rolls.
Yes, that was super great because we sat inside. So they sat us at a 2-top, right inside across from the bar.
Yeah.
And so it was nice and cool, but you could see out on the water. It was a really perfect and beautiful spot.
It was great.
I
And your
enjoyed it.
salad was wonderful. It
Yeah.
was light. It was fresh.
Yep.
The herb vinaigrette was outstanding. I just, at that point, I really wanted the filet mignon sliders.
Yeah.
Hadn't had them since September was the first time we had them.
And then we split them.
Yeah, and we split them.
So this was all
I forgot
you.
there were 3 of them.
Okay.
And this is actually under launch, which is like their appetizers.
Yes.
But you can make a meal out of it. So this is basically 3 filet mignon sliders. It's on this nice soft bun, and it comes with the maitre d' butter for $22. And then I went ahead and got a side of fries, but I think their fries are also on launch, so it's $11, and it's a nice big bowl of fries.
Yeah.
But they're delicious.
Yeah.
They're thin cut, peanut oiled, skin on fries here. That, to me, they remind me a lot of Thrasher fries that I used to get up on the boardwalk in Ocean City. They're just not the thick cut.
Yeah.
I did add, because Lou from WDW Radio,
Yeah.
who is a big Boathouse fan, he's known very well for loving the Boathouse. He's the one who originally had said, man, you got to get the filet mignon sliders. I had them. I told him the next day, I was like, you're right, they're amazing. He said, next time add caramelized onions. So I did. And they bring you a little side of caramelized onions so you can put them on yourself. I did a side-by-side taste test. No caramelized onions. They both win. They're both delicious. If you like
if you ordered
caramelized
it
onions,
again, what would you do?
I don't think it needs the caramelized onions. I like that they came on the side, and I could add them to what I wanted or how much I wanted, because you certainly don't want to add so much that it overpowers the steak at all. But this is the most. I still agree. This is the best single bite on property. Not as a whole meal, not as enjoying everything.
Right.
If you had one bite on property that will blow your mind, I think this is it.
Okay.
With or without onions. It's so good. We stopped at the Character Outlet on the way home. It had been a while. Picked up a few things there. But what we're really here is to finish off our questions. If you did not hear, go back 2 episodes, and you will hear the first set of questions. Now we're going to get into another 7, 8, 9 or so questions. We're going to start with the first one from Tara. This actually is probably good timing with our recent visit to Epic Universe.
Oh.
Said, my husband and I are planning, this is 2 parts, so my husband and I are planning a trip to Orlando for our 15th anniversary this year. Other than Keys to the Kingdom tour, are there other more adult-only dining, activities, etc. we should prioritize? If this is a once-in-a-long-time adult trip only, but we take the family once a year to Disney, do you think it would be worth it to do a day at Epic Universe? Let's tackle that first. Yes. It is going to be worth a day to do. Regardless of what we said about the preview or there not being a ton to do, or if it rains, somebody already said on Twitter after I kind of gave that opinion, they said, yeah, but is it worth going to? 1,000%. This is worth breaking up your Disney trip and going over to do Epic. You agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. And especially for a a date / y'all doing it first, because then, you take the kids once a year anyways. And then if you're like, oh, this is something they love, you can always go back to that.
Yeah.
But I absolutely do think, yes,
Yeah.
Epic would be fun for y'all too.
Yes. Yeah. And
15
honestly, either way,
years.
even if you, I think that's great too, is to say, let's go check it out. Then when we come back, we'll decide if we want to bring the kids. If you don't, though, then it is still 100%, I think, to go when you do bring the kids. I understand that's more tickets to buy and spend, but I do think it would be worth it. Let's go back to the kind of first original question from there. 15th anniversary, other than Keys to the Kingdom, is there something you think that works well as kind of an adult dining or activity? I'm going to go right off and say, I understand they're not adult-only dining, but it is a place I think you're better off going adults only. Would be places like Narcoossee's, Citricos, Topolino's. I would look at Flying Fish. Some of those, obviously you can take your kids, whatever ages they are, but some of the nicer places I think are a little better when it's just the two of you. Don't you think?
Yeah, because I was almost going to put in Cinderella's Royal Table up in there.
Cinderella Royal Table I think would be a great one. I mean, honestly, and depending on the age of your kids, we all love taking our kids to Disney. It's amazing. It can be exhausting. Sometimes, you might just want to go do Cinderella Table or Akershus.
Or California Grill.
Or, California Grill. Or, you know what? I'm thinking of like character dining. Ohana, Tuscany. You might decide, you know what? This one's about mom and dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad, or whatever it may be.
Right.
We're going to go and we're going to do the stuff we would normally do with kids, but we're going to enjoy it to the level of not having our children with us. Like, I would have loved to have done Chef Mickey's breakfast years ago when the kids were younger.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed just you and I going and not thinking about having younger kids. You got to worry about getting their food and making sure they're good and making sure they see the care, and you just get to enjoy yourself. Behind the seats.
Yeah. Oh, that's cheap, but great. That's what I was just thinking, because we haven't been on many, and Jeremy did tell me, I don't know if you've told the world besides me, but we are going to car camp.
Yeah, in June, first weekend in June, we're doing 2 nights car camping.
And then we are going to do the tour of Caring for Giants.
Yes. Yeah.
So, because he said, do you want me to tell you? And I'm like, I think so, because I want to know what to pack and what, and he's like, you need closed-toed shoes. And I'm like, oh, where are we going? Yeah. And of course, we've always never talked about things unless we've done it. So unfortunately, the only tours we have is Keys of the Kingdom and Behind the Scenes that we've done.
I've heard wonderful things about Caring for Giants. I've heard wonderful things about Up Close with Rhinos. How do you feel about like a Hoop-de-Doo? I know, again, it's not adults only, but what a great place to go as adults. And I know it sounds awful, but you don't have to worry about your kids.
Yeah.
And if you are a beer drinker or a wine drinker, it's included. So talk about being able to go to Fort Wilderness, which is awesome. You could do a carriage ride before or after. I think would make a cool little date night. You could even plan it out a little bit. I can't remember the show times, but you could probably go and look at doing campfire sing-along, see a Hoop-de-Doo, and then do a carriage ride after Hoop-de-Doo. If those timing work out, you might have to adjust some things around.
Or do a carriage ride, do Hoop-de-Doo, and when you're done, watch the fireworks.
Fireworks
on the beach.
Yeah. So I think something like that, and I think it's a little bit out of the box. It's not something that people normally look at. I think would be very, very cool to do. So check that out. I was going to do Hoop-de-Doo again while we go for the car camping. But
that's what I thought.
But I'm like, man, the cost of one Hoop-de-Doo ticket, because Caring for Giants is like, I think, under $40 when you have an AP discount.
Oh, wow.
And you're looking at $70 or so for Hoop-de-Doo. So I'm like, 2 Caring for Giants for the price of 1 Hoop-de-Doo, which we have done a couple times. Right. So I think that'll be super cool to go do. All right, let's move on. Samantha, what is your perfect Disney day, assuming price isn't a factor for that particular day? I mean, I think it'd be real easy to say, well, price is not a factor. I'm going to do a VIP tour.
Okay.
But I don't think I would.
I think price not a factor. I would literally say stay in Cinderella's castle.
Of course you would.
Eat at her castle.
Mm-hmm.
Dinner. And then have what's the
Premier pass.
Yeah, I
was
started
gonna
saying,
say
what's
that.
the new
I would say
pass?
at that point,
Mm-hmm.
to make it a great day, as much as I want to do a VIP tour, and I know how fun it would be to go around with those guides and learn from them, and we're going to do one someday. I think at that point, just to have like our family of 4 or 6 or whoever else is coming, to be able to do Premier Pass for everyone and do the parks on your own, but with Premier Pass would be incredible. And yeah, I'd look
she was
at
saying
doing
a day, so that's my day.
Yeah.
Like I go into Magic Kingdom with this
like
pass. I ride everything.
Every last thing.
And then I go upstairs to my room to get ready because I'm going to totally put a beautiful dress on for dinner, and then go downstairs to eat dinner. And then, that's my price isn't a factor.
How about dinner?
Day.
You do dinner early enough where you could still then go do a dessert party for Happily Ever After.
Yes. Perfect.
That would
there
be cool.
you go. You just
that would
put
be
the
a pretty
icing on the
awesome
cake.
day. Yeah. Yep. I love it. All right. That's what we're doing. Now,
okay.
To be fair, there is not a price to be paid to stay in Cinderella Castle. That is done on a celebrity status or a giveaway status.
Okay. Can I have a celebrity and giveaway? Just kidding.
No, so let's just take Cinderella Castle out of it. Is there a place that you'd want to stay that you feel like would you then go, you know what? We're going to do a grand villa or something over at Poly because it's easy access, or a 3-bedroom over at Bay Lake Tower or something, stay at the Grand Flow to wake up to.
I just started to say I would probably want to do something that was really close like that, because I would want to go back and, get dressed and ready for the evening. So yeah, I could see doing Contemporary or Bay Lake Tower. I would still pick Contemporary, to be honest. Because I really enjoyed staying there. I really did, with the refurbed and everything. I really enjoyed that.
I really did too.
So,
would you ever, because money is not an object here, would you ever take a minivan from Magic Kingdom to the Contemporary?
Sure. And then
what would they say to you when they pick you up?
I will say this. I will say this, because I did stay at the Contemporary and I still loved it. If money wasn't the factor, of course, I probably would pick the Poly bungalows.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because we did go through that, and that was super cool. And I still would do the whole thing. I would do the day of the pass, because then I think I would have enough time because of the pass to go back.
Enjoy the bungalow. See, that's the thing too.
Well, to go back to maybe enjoy the bungalow a little bit, to get ready for dinner, and then take a minivan straight from Poly to back to dinner.
Kingdom.
Have dinner, and then have
at
a dessert party.
No, man. At that point, I'm going back and watching fireworks from the bungalow, from out there on the deck, the
Sitting
little
in
hot
the
tub
pool
thingy.
hot tub thing.
Heck yeah, that's what. And if they would ever bring back, what was it called? The Twilight Feast. Remember, they used to be able to get Ohana delivered to your room prior to COVID. We did that for your birthday
at night like this, because we never said an epic. We did get back to the room, and you went and got like a whole feast of stuff.
I got chicken tenders and fries.
And 2 desserts.
Well, we had to do some information to...
And we didn't even talk about it.
They were delicious. One was a cupcake. It was delicious. One was peanut butter and chocolate brownie thing. Also delicious. So, Dockside Diner. Samantha also asked, do you have a favorite fun fact about the parks?
Well, my favorite fun fact, and everybody knows this, I believe now, is that when you walk into Magic Kingdom, you're on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
Which is still incredible to me.
It blows your mind.
Yeah.
When you think about that. Yeah.
Because you don't walk upstairs. You don't in fact, if you're coming from the monorail, it feels like you're walking downstairs.
Oh, I know.
And then you walk into Magic Kingdom and you are literally on the 2nd floor. That's incredible.
It is hard to just imagine that, because when you look at it, obviously everything seems to be on the right level.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do love that. I think with the, and I don't know what the limitations are now, the 200 feet tall, that if you went above that, you had to put the light on it for aircraft. And so, the Castle and Everest and all these are just shy of those, I think is interesting. And then, of course, the story of Walt in Disneyland handing out the candy to see how
That
long
was
people
cool.
went until they looked for a trash can. And then knowing that is kind of why almost anywhere you are in Disney, you can turn and find a trash can within whatever it may be, 30 paces or yards, whatever it may be. But, going back to talking about that first question about what is a cool thing to do in tours, Keys to the Kingdom. I mean, we've done episodes on Keys to the Kingdom.
Yeah.
You could just do an entire episode on fun facts that you learn on Keys to the Kingdom.
Yeah.
And what's so cool about them is you're never going to remember them all.
No.
And so it makes it so much fun to go back
Yeah.
and you may hear them again and you still think it's like incredible.
Yeah.
So I love that. Rachel asked, if you could give each park a new icon, what would it be? Well, I'm telling you right now,
You want to change the
Chinese
Tower-
Theater
Yeah.
at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Because I just believe that is the icon. It is the icon based on how all other icons are set.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that would be mine there.
I
Now-
look at your arm and then I'm like, I wouldn't want any others because that would.
Oh
that
yeah, but let's just say you had to swap them out. Like, okay, would you swap out Cinderella Castle for anybody else's castle or centerpiece?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay. Would you do anything at Animal Kingdom?
No,
what could
because
be
it's
another
real life.
All right, so you're not playing the game properly. You're supposed to give a new icon to each park.
No, it
So you have to
said,
give one.
if you could,
If you could.
I would not.
All right, so you just wouldn't.
No.
So you would not give new icons.
I would do, like you said, Chinese theater because of that.
Yep.
I mean, I do remember Hollywood used to have the hat.
Yep.
And
and
that
the Earful
was-
Tower. Remember, it used to be
yes.
the Earful Tower
Yeah.
on the tour there. So backlot tour and all you could see through there. Okay, if you had to pick one, you could bring back Earful Tower, you could bring back the Fantasia hat, you could use just Chinese theater there, or Tower of Terror. Which of those four would you pick to be there?
Well, remember the hat was right there in the middle.
Oh, I know. It was right in front of Chinese theater.
So if you put the hat back, excuse me, I would say the hat, because again, like you said, you're coming into this giant hat that is like hiding Chinese
Yeah,
theater.
see, I didn't like it hiding.
But now that it's gone, I mean, Chinese theater, I agree, because it's just that, like, it's just what you see.
Yeah, it's everyone. It's the reveal as
mean,
you come
right.
in. And I understand you see Tower of Terror from the distance.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that it is the icon. And as we said, I think it has something to do with marketing and
Right.
not having access to market Chinese theater as the icon of that park.
Correct.
All right, let's move on to April. Said, are all rides open during the extended evening hours for deluxe resorts? Most all of them are, yes. I don't know off the top of my head what might be closed, but a majority of all the rides are. Of course, those nights are limited based on day of the week, in which park. So you just really want to go out to their, I know this isn't a great answer, but she asked it. So go out to their website and look. If I remember correctly, most of the rides you would want to ride will be open during Deluxe Resort extended evening hours.
Nice.
All right, let's move on to the next one from Jason. He asks, what's been your most unexpectedly awesome experience at Universal that you didn't see coming?
Epic Universe.
I was going to say the carousel there, the Constellation Carousel.
Well, it says at Universal. I'm assuming that's all three parks.
Well, yeah, now, but like a specific experience. I'll go back to the one I've said a million times. Our first Halloween Horror Nights, right? We had been pass holders for a little over a year at that point, because remember the first year, 2020, they didn't have Halloween Horror Nights coming out of
Right.
COVID and all. They had it again 2021. First one we went to. That would have been 4 years ago.
When
So
Lacey
Lacey's
was
11,
young.
10 at the time, actually then,
Yeah.
I think. And I remember walking through one of the scare zones, and you could tell she was scared to death. She's like hiding. She's ducking in me. I'm thinking, we were the worst parents on the earth. We brought this child to Halloween Horror Nights. We're going to be the people on the internet that people are like, why would you take your child to Halloween Horror Nights? And I would say, I don't know. I don't know any better. And the one scare actor came up, walked up slowly to her, saw she was frightened, and just put out his fist and gave her a pound. And not that afterwards she was just like gallivanting around and hugging monsters, but
She does now.
It changed. It changed everything for her that night, and it was amazing. And she had the best time, and you could tell that's what she needed to like take all the fear out of what Halloween Horror Nights was going to be. So that's mine. What you got? Carousel?
That was
Constellation
impressive.
Carousel.
I mean, I still think like going through that Nintendo World, like Portal, Warp, like, oh my God, like, and kind of watching Tina too, like,
Yeah.
and knowing we played this when we were young,
Yeah.
that was freaking cool, man.
I gotta say, and we didn't say this in that Epic Universe episode. The pictures and video, whatever you see, does not do justice, especially in Super Nintendo World.
1000%.
Nothing will ever beat walking through that portal physically yourself and witnessing that for the first time. So don't even think it will. You got to go see it in person, seriously.
And let's see, most unexpectedly, yeah, I guess that / the ride.
Yeah.
Isle of Burke, the winged.
That is true. I did not expect winged
Yeah.
gliders to be so incredible.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to, once Epic is fully open, we go back, we can do Stardust, Werewolf,
Yep.
go ahead and do Hiccups again. I can't wait to do another ranking roller coasters with Epic now part of the Universal and Disney the way that we do
I
it.
agree.
See where these show up.
Yeah.
And if we want, we can even throw in the West Coast with Disneyland at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
so
true.
that'll be fun to do. Next up, Nicole said, if we're staying at a value resort, are there any tips to still make it feel like a deluxe experience? A couple. Well, one thing I'll say, go out on Facebook and look for the Ear to Each Other's Facebook community.
Okay.
This is cast members and former cast members, many of them that started businesses when they were furloughed during COVID. And it's all these small, incredible business, like our friends at Vacation Grocery Delivery. They've got everything from people, you know, maybe you can't get that 60 out bippity boppity boutique, or, you know, that is a little bit, that price is deluxe, right? Mm-hmm. They've got folks out there that will come to your room and do this for your kids or whatever. They've got, you know, there's companies out there and cast members that have started massage companies. Of course, Vacation Grocery Delivery that can bring you your snacks, bring you bottles of champagne or something for your room to celebrate in the evening, whatever it may be. I think there's little touches like that you can do from some of those that make it feel like you're a big baller on a budget, but you can actually do a lot of these things staying at the value and utilizing these small businesses and these cast members and all. So that's kind of one thing I'm thinking. Is there?
That's a great tip, because
or just take a minivan one night.
Yeah.
You know, take your minivan one night from All Star. Maybe you got dinner at Disney Springs or something, and you decide, you know what, we're going to splurge.
It's a long ride.
It might be a little expensive, but you're saving all that money on the value resort, right?
Or,
So, you know,
I mean, or one morning if you're going to maybe rope drop Animal Kingdom, take a minivan.
yeah, take a
rope
minivan
drop.
there from the All Stars or something. Anything else you can think of?
I mean, they say that your Pop Century is a value resort, and your Art of Animation, the Little Mermaid rooms, are your value resort. One of those probably over the All-Star to feel a little more deluxe, because then you're on the Skyliner.
Yeah, you're staying at a
So-
value with deluxe amenities.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most, now I understand you can't go and pool hop to those pools,
Right.
but you can go enjoy the moderate levels of a Caribbean beach resort. Go enjoy the deluxe level Riviera and all those ones around the boardwalk, and you can take in a lot of those restaurants, shopping, just hanging out on the boardwalk, and it definitely gives you that deluxe feel, like that one. All right, Megan asks, we got two more. Megan asks, what's your favorite Disney resort for couples only trip and why? I know this is probably one of the questions we've answered a lot, but I think every time it comes about, I kind of have to think about it again. You know what I mean? Because I think it can change.
I agree, and I feel like to me it has changed, and that would be like Pop Century, or I mean, well, we haven't stayed at the Little Mermaid room in a while, but Pop Century we really try to look at first because we are on that Skyliner, and Jeremy and I, now being just us, we don't have to pull that bed down. And you have so much more room.
Yeah.
It, to me, like, and going back to Nicole too, you know, this is like where I feel like we're almost in a deluxe room per se, because
It feels like a DVC room.
yeah, because it's bigger.
Yeah.
And you have that room, and then you have the big queen bed, which we sleep very comfortably. We sleep in a king bed at home. We sleep very comfortably in the bed at Pop Century and the All Stars. So,
but let's say you're doing a couples trip that you're going to your favorite Disney resort. That's what we're talking about, really. Let's move away from value budgeting.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's still it's still fun for couples.
Right, but you're not
only.
going to pick that.
Oh, okay.
If I said, okay, you've got your birthday coming up. I'm going to take you to Disney for your birthday. Where do you want to stay? It's going to be couples only, just me and you. We're going good couples trip. We don't plan on hitting the parks maybe a lot because we want kind of a staycation. Where are you picking? And
then
if you say Pop Century, you're full of everything.
And then I can say anything I want?
Well, yeah. Where would you recommend that Megan goes for a couples trip to
Polly.
Disney? Yeah. I think that's top of my list now is Polly.
Yeah.
I will say if you want the most intimate, interesting, and fun couples only trip, go to Fort Wilderness. I mean, I know you might not camp in your car like we do, but look at one of the DVC cabins, which you can pay cash rates for. Contact Amy, with MEI Travel, and see what you can get. We got a very, very, very good rate as APs for when we go in August. So look at something like that you might think, well, maybe we can't do that, but there's so much to do there. Now imagine being in a cabin, just the two of us, and I know it sleeps 6, and sure, the bedroom's got a bunk bed in it, and that's going to be a little weird, but like, I think some children will come with us probably, but if they don't, how awesome would that be for just you and I to get to stay in one of those cabins?
Yeah, all right.
You sleep in a little bit in the morning. I can get up, go out and turn on lights in a full living room and maybe start some breakfast or sit on the porch and have coffee or watch TV. Like, that's a cool space to do it. And there's so much to do at Fort Wilderness. Like, I think of that. Like, there's a lot to do at Polly.
Sorry, I wasn't thinking like...
So just, no, but you do want to go with every level because not every, and I know she didn't ask specifically, like, what would you do at a value? What would you do at a moderate? What would you do at a deluxe? But you also have to go, okay, what's the best Disney resort for a couples only trip? Sure, we can play the game of you have all the money in the world, but you don't.
Right.
We know that none of these people that are coming to us do. I don't think Jeff Bezos is listening to Main Street Magic asking what is the best, resort for a couple. So you can look at those and go, you know what? I would maybe give up the cost of staying at a Polly to stay at a Pop Century where we know we're comfortable and have room because we're going to use that extra money to go have dinner at California Grill or really splurge on a Victoria and Albert's or go do Hoop-de-Doo review or Keys to the King, do these other things by saving money by staying at something like a value. So there, I think a Pop Century does come into play a lot. Yeah. So thoughts there. Finally, Courtney asks, we're going to talk more about kind of the resorts. We'll finish off with this. This actually kind of goes off of what I was saying almost. Is there any advantage to staying at a moderate resort versus a value or deluxe? Or is it better to go all in or save?
Yeah, I feel like you just answered that question.
Well, I think that's why they're moderate resorts. You get the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. If you have an opportunity, now you're probably not going to be able to stay in Grand Destino Tower, but if you have an opportunity with some of these rates to maybe go to Coronado, where you can get a standard room for $250 a night, you are getting a lot of deluxe level feel with things like Three Bridges in Toledo and Dahlia Lounge, the pool there, which is wonderful. Mm-hmm. I think you get the same thing at Caribbean, the same thing at Port Orleans. You take away the true deluxe because they don't have balconies.
Right.
They're exterior entry. Mm-hmm. For the most part, those are the only real differences between moderates and deluxes.
Yeah,
Location
true.
Obviously can come into play, but I think you go back and go, all right, like we were just talking about we can stay at a value and we can do all these other things with our money. Mm-hmm. We can stay at a deluxe and we can't do much else with our money.
Right.
Or we can stay at a moderate and we can do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I'll agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So that's it. Do you have any more questions since you had one to start earlier about Blizzard Beach, Typhoon Lagoon?
No, but once we get off air, I'd like to talk about this
the cabin?
Yeah, this cabin thing.
Yes.
I was like, I know you texted me and we never really, I had some other thoughts
We'll discuss them after this
Okay.
episode. So, if you want to hear our thoughts on staying in cabins coming up, Rhonda can tune you in maybe on the next episode, or you just have to wait. Our car camping trip in June, Main Street 16 this weekend. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. As always, you want to subscribe so you get those brand new episodes every single Tuesday and Friday. And then Rhonda and I would be very thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon. Are you planning a Disney or Universal vacation? Make it seamless with Vacation Grocery Delivery. They deliver fresh groceries right to your resort so you can skip the store and start your vacation as soon as possible. We absolutely love using their service. There's no price markups on items, and they've never canceled an order like some of those other services. Plus, their team is comprised of former Disney cast members who ensure top-notch service. And we want to give a big thank you to Vacation Grocery Delivery for being the sponsor of this year's Main Street 16 Challenge Weekend. Visit VacationGroceryDeliveryFL.com to place your order and tell them Main Street Magic sent you. We're excited to announce Balanced Weather, your go-to source for smart, reliable weather updates tailored for Walt Disney World and all of Central Florida. CEO Alan Gerard, a meteorologist and lifelong Disney fan, has been providing weekly weather reports to the Main Street Magic community for years. And now he'll be bringing you weekly forecasts plus answers to your questions about weather for your upcoming Disney, Universal, or Florida vacation. Visit balancedweather.com/WDW-weather to learn more and get the latest updates.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.